Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's your old pal, Mr. Butter, coming back at you again. I'm recording this video on the day that the Obsidian Jordan 1 lows were supposed to be released. For some reason, Nike or the Jordan brand pushed that release back, so I had to go with plan B. I took a road trip and I picked up the Nigel Sylvester Brick by Brick Jordan 4. If you're into kicks and you feel like hanging out, then hit that subscribe button. Let's take a look at these Nigel Jordan 4s. I'm the kind of guy that likes to have things planned out, and in my head I get this kind of list of what my objectives for the day are. Even on the weekend, it's like my mind won't rest. But whenever I got up and saw that I couldn't get the Obsidians, I was very irritated, but sometimes frustrations can be a blessing in disguise. I knew that my cousin had gone for these shoes on the sneakers app. Shout out to GK. He's really been coming through for me. My cousin GK and my brother Crazy J, who has been on the channel a good bit, they both have sneakers accounts, but they don't use them for themselves. They really just have them because I asked them if they would download the sneakers app so that they could try for pairs of shoes when I knew they'd be limited and when I knew it would be pairs that would be difficult to get. GK's account has been really hot because I haven't even asked him to go for that much here recently. I think I asked him to go for the foam posits and he didn't get those, but my account ended up hitting them. But one of the last shoes that I asked him to go for was the Velvet Brown Travis Scott Jordan 1 lows, and he hit those in my size. That is the only pair of Travis Scott Jordan 1 lows I have in my size that I was able to get for retail. But much like the Travis Scott collabs, I knew this one would be really sought after. I had heard all the insanity that was involved, which included like the train robbery and that kind of stuff. And on top of that, we just knew that numbers weren't going to be real high. When I first saw images of these, it wasn't a must cop on my list. I'd be lying if I said it was. When I first saw images, I thought, okay, well, we've seen an all red Jordan 4. To me, it looked like it lacked creativity and that sort of thing, but that could not have been further from the truth. This is 100% one of those pairs that seeing is believing. Maybe I should speak for myself, but I know I saw pictures of them, I heard what people were saying about them, and I was just kind of a non-believer until I saw them in person. And they are absolutely insane. But back to the original story, I had no intention of picking these up today. He lives a little over an hour away, and he's got kids, I've got kids. We've always got a million things going. I knew I'd get them at some point, and I knew he wouldn't do anything with them. He doesn't even open the box whenever they get shipped to his house. Like for me, I would be curious and I'd want to see him and everything. He leaves the box sealed and everything and just gives them to me in the Nike shipping box. I didn't think I would have these in hand yet, but sometimes, like I said, a frustration ends up becoming kind of a blessing. It was really nice to see GK. I love that guy. He's about as good of a guy as there can be, and he and I, along with my brother and GK's sister, we were all just so tight growing up, and sometimes it's nice to have that reminder of childhood. So again, GK, thank you for coming through with this one. You're the man. I appreciate it so much. By now, we all know we're talking about the Brick by Brick Nigel 4. This one, instead of saying Nike Air on it, it's got that bike air. Nigel Sylvester is a professional BMX rider. I will admit he was never on my radar until that Jordan 1 that came out years ago, and he did a collaboration with the Jordan brand. It was a really nice looking Jordan 1. I never grabbed that pair. I thought they were really cool, but that was the first I ever heard of Nigel Sylvester. Apparently the color of this pair of shoes has a big inspiration from bricks that you can see in, I believe, Brooklyn, New York. I believe that's where he's from. I know it's New York. Pretty sure it's Brooklyn, but the color of this shoe is inspired by the color of bricks there in New York where he's from, which I think is cool. Closer to the time that this pair actually released, I saw a promo video that was really cute. It was with this adorable little girl talking to Nigel, and she was kind of asking about the meaning and that kind of thing. And she was talking about his successes, his failures, basically just all these different experiences that Nigel had. And after everything that she mentioned, he said, a brick. That's a brick. All the successes, all the failures were all just kind of a brick in the wall, not to steal lyrics from Pink Floyd, but he was saying no matter if it's a good experience or a bad experience, just every experience is a building block that built you up to the point in your life that you're currently at, which I absolutely love. And that kind of thing just really speaks to me, and that makes me value shoes even more, especially when you can see it translate on the design of the shoe, and in this case, even the packaging. Another way that I can relate to that is just, I've been building this YouTube channel for a couple of years now, and I've been going really hard picking up hype stuff, picking up stuff that really people have probably not heard about, but a lot of times I get comments of people saying, bricks, bricks, bricks. I always just laugh it off, but it's like they fail to realize that all this content I'm creating is to build my channel. Some people might not come for the hype stuff, but they might come for like the Nike Cities or whatever unpopular shoe it might be. But it's all just a building block to get the channel to where it is. So I thought that was cool because I could kind of relate to that in my own life. But obviously you can tell that this box looks like a brick. It looks a little bit tattered. You can see there's some light spots in it. It even has that on the back as well, but I think it's really neat looking, and it also feels really rough. If you had the Jordan 4 wet cements, I think it was last year in 2024, but if you had that all gray pair of Jordan 4s, then you know exactly what this feels like, because it's the same kind of texture on the outside of the box. The tag reads Air Jordan 4 Retro OG SP. The colors are firewood orange, sail, and cinnabar. I asked my cousin to go for a size 10.5, and that's what he got on this one. One other design element I really liked is the shoes came individually wrapped. Not only were they wrapped in paper, but they also had this plastic wrapped around them. And then there was this blue band. It's made of Velcro, but it looks a lot like bricks whenever you get a pallet of them. Or I built a retaining wall at my last house, and I think it was like 26 or 28 feet long or something, and whenever they delivered the building blocks, they came on pallets and they were wrapped in plastic, and then they had those ties that went around it that you had to cut off. And they really nailed the presentation with this. I don't have the shoes in there now, but I just kind of put it back together the way it was whenever I got them. I gotta tip my hat to Nigel and the Jordan brand, because the packaging alone really helps tell that story, and I'm a huge fan of that. Alright, but enough of my rambling and enough of my talking about that box. Have a look at these absolute beauties. It's really overcast today, and a lot of times I might be kind of bummed about that, but I think it's allowing me to have the opportunity to really show you how many different colors they have on this shoe, and also hopefully you can see the real color of these, and hopefully you can tell that they're not really as bright as what they look in pictures. I never really know what my camera sees until I go back and edit these, so I'm hoping you're able to see how nice these colors are, but it's got a lot more of a brown tint to it. When I first saw pictures of these, I just thought it was an all red and white shoe, but it's really a lot more earthy than that. I don't know if you ever dug a hole pretty deep or anything, but sometimes you get to a layer and it's like clay in the soil. That's what this color reminds me of. It really looks like clay, and it does look like it's brick red, but I thought these were going to be a lot brighter red. I thought they were going to be a lot flashier in person when I got them, but they really are a little bit more muted, and I do think that this shoe is way more wearable than what I initially thought. As soon as I grabbed these things, I realized that the nubuck is just about as premium as can be. These things are so well thought out. They really do tell a story, and the materials are so premium. So I think they really knocked this one out of the park. I gotta give these like a 10 out of 10 if I'm being honest. I like how the overlay on the mudguard is like a really rough texture. It does kind of feel like a brick. I don't know what they put on that, but it's kind of hard feeling. And of course it's the color of a brick, but I like that contrast of both the texture and the color that you get with this mudguard compared to the new buck that we have on the upper. A couple more little design elements that really make this pair unique are this little swoosh that you see here towards the front. And then on the back, of course, instead of saying Nike Air, it says Bike Air. And again, that's because Nigel Sylvester is a professional BMX rider. I've also noticed too, since I've been outside, that a couple of times when the light has hit this netting, I think it might be reflective back behind there. So even though it's got this kind of monochromatic upper, it does have some extra little pop, I think, because it looks like when the light hits that netting, it looks like the backing behind that really pops. I think it's reflective. But looking at the tread pattern, it's what we're familiar with when it comes to Jordan 4s. We've got Nike branding here at the midfoot. The perimeter is all a red color, and I didn't realize it. I thought that it was all solid red. It looks like at the back underneath the heel that this is a solid red, but then this red color up here is almost like a translucent rubber material. It's not transparent, but it almost looks like a little bit of light might pass through that, and I think that's a neat little touch as well. We've got herringbone going a bunch of different directions. We also have some white areas of herringbone there. And then in the front, once again, in a solid rubber, just like we saw underneath the heel, we see those little stars. And I always like that detail on 4s. As we come up to the side of the shoe, we can see that that translucent red rubber wraps up to the side, and you can see it there from the side. Wow, that was really like a tongue twister there, but you can see that that translucent rubber comes up to the side, and it's met by some areas of red painted foam. Again, it's the color of a brick, and it's not real shiny or anything. It kind of has like a matte finish. It is as clean as can be, and there's no paint where it shouldn't be. Then we also see we have areas of white painted foam, and that surrounds that visible air unit. Inside of that visible air unit, it looks like we've got more of that red accent color. Like I already mentioned, this overlay here on the mudguard feels kind of hard. It's definitely got like a coating on it, but it's very rough. It's got a cool texture on it. It looks like that might be a suede material. I wonder if over time, if that'll kind of wear off a little bit and then it'll just be like a hairy suede underneath. I'll be interested in seeing that. I love this little swoosh accent here on the front. And then my favorite material on this shoe is definitely this nubuck. Maybe it's a suede or something, but I always call everything short hair a nubuck. Whatever it is, it feels so premium. You get so much back and forth motion on it. At first, I thought these might be stained, but it was just because of the direction shifting, and it's just parts of it look really dark, parts of it look really light, depending on how that material is laying. This whole upper is that same monochromatic red brick color, and even the plastic accents that we have for our wings and these lace accents, that's all that same brick red color. And also this netting that we have over these reflective panels, both on the side as well as on the base of the tongue, that's all that brick red color as well. These came with brick red laces already in the shoe, but they did give us a spare. It looks like they're white, or maybe they're just the least bit tinted. It's kind of hard to tell, but they gave us a white set of flat laces. And shout out to Rafi Collects. He threw the white ones in there, and it really changed the whole look of the shoe. It kind of broke up all of this solid color, and I think it really balanced out the shoe pretty well. I might throw the red laces in whenever I go to wear these, but I don't know, that'll be a game time decision. The base of the tongue has this netting on it Up here at the top, it has this nice brick red nubuck, just like we have on the rest of the upper. And then we've got this cool flight tag like we always get on Jordan 4s. And it's got a red Jumpman. And then it's got that flight on there in a white color. Again, it's got this rubber heel tab. And on that in white, it says Bike Air instead of Nike Air. And I love that touch. Instead of having an upside down Air Jordan tag on the back of this tongue, this one says Jordan Biking Company, established 2017. I think that's a really cool hidden detail. And then our sock liner is more of that brick red color. It kind of feels similar to the Cardinal 3 sock liner. It's just kind of more of like a satin finish. And then our insole is brick red, and it's got Go written on it in white. Well, that was a pretty quick look at the Nigel Sylvester brick by brick Jordan 4s. This might be my favorite pickup of the year, but it's hard to say because so much heat has dropped and I've had really good luck this year. I don't know. I can't imagine what my top 5 list is going to be because I feel like we just keep getting banger after banger after banger. I hope some of y'all were able to get these if you really wanted them. Hopefully for retail. I think these things are way better in person than what they are in pictures. I really had no idea I was going to like them as much as what I do, but I absolutely love this pair and I think this is a 10 out of 10. But before I get these too wet, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up now. I appreciate you all watching tremendously, and I will catch y'all on the next one. I'm out.